Hey guys, it's Chris again, and we're doing today's uh, program of sketchpad diagrams on decision making. So, which computer should I use, or should I buy a new bike, or shouldn't I? Will I have a glass of wine with my dinner tonight, or should I have steak or fish? I wonder what I should do tomorrow. I don't know whether I should control the weather. What will I do? Will I go for a swim tonight or not? Yes, decision making can be very complex, and I share that frustration with all of you. I want to just talk today on this Sketchpad video about how to improve the quality of those decisions. I hope you enjoy. Bye for now.
G'day, Chris Walker here. So we make about 100,000 decisions per day. 80,000 of those decisions are automatic on autopilot, and 20,000 are not. Let's call it manual. I'm interested in this balance because, to be honest with you, we need to get better at making sure the 80,000 autopilot decisions we make lead us in the direction of the 20,000 manual decisions which we make, which lead to what we want. Now, it may appear to most people that this 80,000 decisions that's on autopilot is an area as a no-go zone, and that we need to focus on the decisions that we make, these 20,000 decisions that we make a day in order to improve our life or get us healthy or move us forward. But the bottom line is that these 80,000 decisions that we're making on autopilot form the foundation of the base of our pyramid or the base of our mountain, the got tos, the should dos, and the need tos of life. And these, therefore, the autopilot, the auto decisions are what we call reactive. Now, they're highly emotive and they're very reactive. For example, if you walk past a cake shop and you see a beautiful donut with cream and cherries and strawberries on the top and a cup of coffee sniffing nearby, you might say to yourself, wow, I really, you react to the cake and you run in and buy it. And in the process, you get fat or you put on weight. And so down the bottom, in this bottom end, we say that it's wise to have a routine, because routine and discipline gives you the foundation down in the bottom area, down in this area. It gives you foundation to make wise decisions. But if you are always acting in reaction, in other words, you're always being attracted or repelled from things and making decisions down here in this lower area, your decisions are going to be highly polarized, and so they're going to be extreme good or extreme bad. But the problem with this is the likelihood of success is very low. So there's about a 20% probability of being right when you are down in the bottom end of the reactive nature of the human being. Instead of this, what I've suggested is that we set in the bottom end of the decision-making mind, we set routine. So that means what we've done in the past, we say there is a mindset. For example, balance, centered and calm, or gratitude, presence, certainty and love, or give, which is gratitude, inspiration, vision and enthusiasm. What we try to do is create a set of rules down here a set of rules, a set of disciplines to keep us on track. And these disciplines are set in stone for us. So we create daily habits, these daily habits down the bottom, prevent us from making decisions in the lower levels of the brain. And this is really important. We do not want to make decisions down here, because these decisions in business and in relationship are highly reactive. And any decision made in reaction will be regretted. So this is reaction. Oh, that's super attractive, that's super unattractive, I like this or I dislike that. These sort of decisions, when you make a decision based on attraction and repulsion, better or worse, pleasure or pain, you're typically entering into the realm of mistakes. And these decisions are fraught with inexperience, they're fraught with a high probability of failure, they're fraught with emotional charge. And yeah, sure, we enjoy this area of life down the bottom here. We love to have stories and movies and things, but decisions made down here are going to lead to trouble. Where we want to make decisions are up in this higher levels of the brain. And rather than say that we're going to make decisions with higher levels of the brain, we say we're going to change decisions to conclusions. That means there's no spontaneity in the top area of the mind. In the three top areas of the human brain, these three muscles are not spontaneous. They're instantaneous in recognizing truth. They're instantaneous in having inspiration. But they don't make spontaneous decisions. They draw spontaneous conclusions. So a conclusion is vastly different to a decision. A decision is something we make by gathering information to try and get more positives than negatives or more negatives than positives. But a conclusion is what we draw when we realize that the positives and the negatives balance each other, and therefore we're going to draw a conclusion. That conclusion is always intuitive. It's not based on right and wrong. And this is a really big problem for a lot of people who are frightfully insecure about trusting their intuition. They start trusting other people's intuition. Now, when you trust another person's intuition, this area here should be precise and beautiful conclusion drawing, decision making that is what we said back at the start here, wise. But when we're insecure, we ask other people for their intuitive answer, and then we basically use their values to just make intuitive decisions for ourselves. Now, that's typically a spouse. In coaching, my job is to make sure I don't make decisions for people. Instead, what I do is help people, I lead people to their intuition, which means, in a sense, I've got to help them draw conclusions by examining the situation. And the way we do that is by asking, what is your vision? So if you know your vision and you know, in a sense, where you're going, your conclusions will be around linking your vision to your conclusion. And these decisions then become highly accurate. These top three areas of the mind, these top three are powerful parts of the human genius. And you want to stay up there, because instead of reaction, this is where we have action. This is reaction. When I go to Nepal, it's really important that we don't allow people to be in their reactive brain, in the lower levels of the human mind. For example, if you were crossing this is a moraine. This is the largest moraine on earth. This is a river. frozen river, and it's leading to this mountain over here. So this river that's frozen is moving downstream very, very, very slowly. And the distance, just to give you an idea, that's about 1 kilometre across there. So this gives you an idea of our altitude up here on Gokyo Ri. So it gives you an idea of the expanse, and this thing goes in length for about 20 kilometres. It's all frozen, and it moves and it grinds and it shapes. And to get across here take about, 10 or 12 hours with ropes. So to move across through this incredible dangerous territory, they have one at the bottom from base camp on Mount Everest. They talk about getting across the icefall, and to get across the icefall is the most dangerous part of climbing Mount Everest, and it's the first day. So because people would, if I took inexperienced trekkers across the icefall, across this moraine here, the probability would be that they would drop into the lower levels of their mind. They would operate in reaction. And when you operate in reaction, the chances are you're going to fall. So that's not going to be a good thing. So what we have to do is we have to go down here 10 kilometres to find a place to go across there, walk back 10 kilometres to get to there, which is really only 1 kilometre away. So that's how laborious it is, or how when you're dealing with people at work and you're dealing with people in your life, your spouse, your kids and things, that's how hard it is sometimes to respect the fact that people are in their lower mind and they're operating from a highly emotive place, and what looks to you to be a safe journey, or looks to you to be a safe passage, or looks to be an easy conclusion to draw, while other people may not understand your rationale, and their decisions might be vastly different because they're operating in their lower mind and they have to go the slow process. Now this, in a divorce, if you're talking about a divorce, instead of going day 1, day 2, day 3 of a divorce, people go week 1, month 1, year 1, 2 years, crossover, get remarried and start all over again. And they take massive amounts of time to get from A to B because they get stuck in their lower thinking, in their emotional levels of thought. They're in reaction. Whereas if they were in the top levels of their mind, action, it would only take a very short period of time to get from A to B. But no, people go down through here, they fight and fight and fight, they cry and cry and cry, they cross the moraine, they come back the other side, and they're only really 1 day away from where they started, but they've taken 3 years, up to even more. It's the same in business. Sometimes we see that there is a strategy we want to employ in our business, but because people don't want to engage in that strategy, they don't want to shift the culture, they don't want to shift their behavior, we say, I want to take my business from A to B, and here we go. You can draw the conclusion, you see a good decision to go, but the whole team won't go with you because they're in their lower mind reaction. And so you have to go down here to spend 3 months getting training and development and negotiating and get back just to go from A to B, which could have taken 1 month. So this ability to work in the mind, in the higher levels, is powerful for life. To do it, we have to isolate ourselves in a way from the lower mind. To isolate ourselves from the lower mind, which has an important function in nature, we need disciplines and routine and practices that keep us in the high levels. If we go into the high levels and we haven't set this up properly down here, we get calamities, disasters, and humbling circumstances to bring us back out of our uppityness, living in highly, we're saying we're really inspired, But if we haven't got our shit together and we haven't put some really foundational principles like mindset, food, exercise, nutrition, relaxation, calm, emotional awareness, if we haven't put that in place, we calamity, disaster, and humbling circumstances keep bringing us down to ground zero. What we're after always when we're talking about conclusion drawing or decision making is to be 100% accurate. And this is very Zen, the concept of 100% accuracy in decision making, and it's absolutely possible. You may have seen in the work with Innerwealth that we often draw 4 columns and put the positive and the negative and then the negative of the positive over here and then the positive of the negative over here. And what we're trying to do is create, what would you call it? We're creating the circumstances in which a conclusion can be drawn. What we're trying to do is flush out any emotion that may be sitting underneath our decision making so that we have absolute clarity. Now, you get that clarity sitting on your bum in a Himalayan cave for a month, but we don't have that time. We have meetings back to back. So we have 1 hour meeting, another meeting, another meeting. We have all these meetings and we're being asked to draw conclusions or make decisions all along the way. And if we're carrying baggage from one meeting to the next, we're going to be really polluted. And so we use process, including this, the emotional shower, to make sure that, firstly, the 80,000 decisions we make a day are moving us in the direction of where we want to be. If they're not, we go back and we have to do some snow ploughing back here with the discard process. We have to maybe process some mum and dad stuff. We have to make sure we are in mental strength. We have mental strength. We have emotional awareness. So in other words, we feel things, but we know that that's not really truth. We have mental strength, so we are true to our values. We have a vision. We know the importance of environment. We have a great connection to nature. And all these things are critical for the development of sustainability in these 80,000 thoughts, because we want those 80,000 thoughts to lead in the direction of what we want. All these things create habits. So what we're trying to do and what we achieve in doing is creating 80,000 linked thoughts that we keep nicely intact or nicely in position to generate what we want through daily habits. And this is a really important part of your learning in the coaching process. The 20,000 thoughts, however, are going to be made manually. You're going to have to make those decisions as you go. And so the most important thing about a decision that's made manually is 1, no reaction, and 2, it links to a vision. To achieve no reaction, we have to do a bunch of things. 1 is get the bottom of that pyramid. We've already talked about it. The bottom of that pyramid managed by habit. So we're not making emotionally rash decisions. That's the first thing. The second thing is we have to get some, make sure we're not carrying any baggage or emotional baggage around with us that might trigger a breakdown in anything in this area. So what we're doing by creating a no reaction environment is saying, I will only act. And when I say I will only act, I act in the direction of my vision. I'm not codependent on others. I know my values. Therefore, I know my priorities. And therefore, I work on my highest values. When I do that, the coaching becomes more of a sounding board. So instead of looking in the mirror and going, hey, Chris, how you going there today? What do you think about the decision I made? And expecting the mirror to talk back to you in some way. What you do is you have a coach who's a sounding board 24/7. And you say, oh, I'm going to rent a new apartment or I'm going to buy a new car. And you say to the coach, what do you think? So the coach will be like a sounding board. And my job in that is to say, are you making a decision or drawing a conclusion? And therefore, my job is to make sure that when you're making very important decisions, you're not operating out of any form of reaction, or which is in a sense any form of emotion or baggage that you might be carrying from the past. So my job in coaching is to make sure you are not making decisions from this place, and that you are making decisions from the higher three realms of love to, choose to, and desire to. These three areas of the brain, these three muscles, get stronger and stronger. And therefore, the coaching is not so much telling you what to do, but it's making sure that the part of your mind that's making decisions is actually drawing conclusions. And this is where your inspiration is. This is where 100% accuracy comes from. Wise decisions made by wise people at wise times with wise information. This is Chris. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.